Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Guns N' Roses Central, and I want to give a big shout out to Dan on Twitter, who's been chatting with me recently. He asked for a shout out, so I'd be more than happy to give my fans a shout out. So I have a true story episode up on my channel this morning on GNR Central, and then on this channel we're talking about the news. Things will go back to normal pretty soon here, so let's talk about the big news that broke yesterday. A lot of people thought that Slash's divorce with his second wife Perla was pretty much settled and over, but it looks like it's still dragging on. So, I've always read that these divorces, especially with famous people, tend to drag on for a long time unless there's some sort of agreement. And it looks like it may be closer to being finalized. So according to TMZ and The Blast, Slash has basically agreed to pay his estranged wife Perla $6.6 million to help resolve the pending divorce. Now, things don't end just there. So the former couple has been married since 2001. They have two sons. One is 15, one is 13. And Slash originally filed for divorce in 2010, but they reconciled just 2 months later, and then he again filed for divorce in December of 2014, but it's been lagging in the courts since. So 2 months after Slash's second divorce filing, Perla told TMZ that the breakup of her marriage was pretty amicable, adding that there is no bad blood, at least not yet. So basically, here's the news that broke yesterday. So Slash will be required to pay $6.6 million within 30 days of the judgment being signed by both parties. He'll also pay $100,000 per month in spousal support until death or remarriage, and an additional $39,000 per month in child support. On top of that, the children will also collect 1.8% of Slash's income until the year 2036. Slash he gets to keep all his interest in Guns N' Roses and his other companies, all his trademarks and residuals, as well as a number of fully loaded bank accounts. Slash, on the filing, listed his monthly income as $345,000 a month. Now, people, you can do the math. That's about $4 million a year. A lot of people are wondering, with Guns N' Roses touring, how can he only be making $4 million a year? Some people point out that this filing only relates to the time of their divorce, so this only goes up to the end of 2014. It does not include 2015 and 2016, where he's probably making a lot more money because he's touring with Guns N' Roses. Now, Perla hasn't, I don't believe, accepted this offer, and the offer hasn't gone through yet. So basically, a judge has to rule on Slash's request to see whether the judgment will be entered. But I gotta say, this is a huge kick in the balls to be paying that much money. But at least the good news is his kids will be 18 soon, so he won't be paying that much in child support. But this should be a lesson to anybody that if you're famous and you're going to get married, you need to sign a prenup. And it's kind of funny because this is Slash's second marriage. His first marriage, he got a prenup, and that protected him from losing a lot of his Guns N' Roses income. And he even writes about it in his book. That was one of the reasons why he OD'd during the tour with Metallica, is because he got into a huge fight with his fiance at the time over the prenup, and then he OD'd. And then this is a story that probably a lot of you guys don't know. So back in 1998, a year after he got divorced the first time, there was a story that came out that Slash had been overpaying his first wife. So he was paying about $5,000 a month, even though he had a prenup. So that's just a piece of news that maybe you guys haven't heard before. So the next news story, ironically enough, talks about Guns N' Roses' payday at the Download Festival. So Guns N' Roses were reportedly set to make $6.5 million for their one show they played at the Download Festival. Now, this hasn't been officially confirmed, but this is what people are saying online. And immediately when this article went up, a lot of people said, well, it's great that Perla's going to be getting all that money. But let's talk a bit about the actual article. So according to Blabbermouth, they were paid $6.5 million US, which is astounding because if you guys looked at some of the box scores from Guns N' Roses' recent shows they played in North America, or even that huge stadium tour they did in North America back in 2016, they were netting around $3 to $5 million US per show. Even when they played Coachella those 2 weekends, it was rumored that they made about $9 million in total. So even though they get paid that much money, they still have an enormous amount of overhead. They have, all the crew they got to pay. They got managers. They got to pay a number of other people as well. So it basically says, according to the Daily Mirror, that Guns N' Roses were paid £5 million for their set, and that's the most that they've ever done for the Download Festival in its history. So Guns N' Roses reportedly arrived a minute early for its set and left the site shortly after the performance in a helicopter. So according to Billboard, Guns N' Roses Not in This Lifetime tour ranks as the fourth highest grossing tour of all time based on Billboard's box score archive. So far, they had netted almost $500 million up to the end of last year, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. We've got some more news about Shadow of Your Love. So the new Billboard mainstream rock charts were released for the week of June 16th. And Shadow of Your Love stayed put once again for, I think, the third week in a row. It's at number 6, so it's just missing out on entering the top 5 songs in the country. Now, I've been talking to a lot of people online, and they say that, at least in their neck of the woods, it seems like A Shadow of Your Love is being played everywhere on the radio, which is great. Now, this next piece of news kind of came out of left field. So Steven Adler makes a brief cameo in the new Willie Jones music video for Runs in Our Blood. So if you guys fast forward to like the later part of the video where they're actually playing in the backyard, the guy on the drum set is Steven Adler, and he's shown for several seconds throughout the video. It's definitely a different kind of song that I wouldn't expect Steven to be playing on. And it wasn't even clear if he actually plays on the song or if he's just in the music video. So in other Guns N' Roses news, the band, actually just Axl and Slash, made the front cover of the latest issue of Kerrang! Magazine. There was a review of their performance at the Download Festival, and they were basically saying that maybe this is the best Donington has ever had before, the best lineup at least. And, the reviews I read of their Download Festival show was pretty positive. They've played a total of 4 shows so far on this leg of the tour. And it seems like the fans are really enjoying it, even though they got off to a rough start in Berlin. It seems like things are looking up for the band. And finally, we're going to end with some Duff McKagan news. And he was seen attending a steam power display hours before the band headlined the UK's Download Festival over the weekend. So the local charity Staplefoot Railway posted pictures of Duff McKagan alongside a fire truck speaking to its crew and reported that he's intended to travel on their miniature steam train. And the BBC said that the Guns N' Roses had been staying at Staplefoot Park before the show, and the McKagan took the opportunity to visit the Steam Festival after buying a ticket for the train. It's a shame Duff didn't get the chance to ride the event. Event organizer Nigel Spencer said. He's obviously quite keen on fire engines too, and the railway later said that they had to temporarily stop offering rides due to the helicopter arriving to fly the band to nearby download sites. So here's a picture of them posting on social media that they had to stop their train. So that does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to head on over to gnrcentral.com and subscribe for the latest Guns N' Roses news.